say the dead don't speak, but what if they do? Welcome to Confessions from the Ghost Box, where the veil is thin, the static is alive, and real voices from the other side break through. I'm your host, Jason Balbuena, and on this channel we explore true paranormal investigations, spirit box sessions, EVPs, and interviews with guests who've come face to face with the unexplained.
So dim the lights, turn up your volume, and don't touch that dial. This is Confessions from the Ghost Box. Welcome everyone to this week's episode from Confessions from the Ghost Box. For this week's episode, we are going to dive deep into the haunted history of Pensacola's Seville Quarter. Pensacola doesn't just have history, it has layers of it. Beneath the neon lights, the live bands, the laughter spilling into the streets of downtown, there's something older, something patient. Tonight we're not just talking about ghosts, we're talking about why they might still be here. Because the Seville Quarter isn't one building, it's a collection of surviving witnesses, structures that endured wars, epidemics, fires, and human cruelty. And some witnesses never leave. Long before Seville Quarter became a nightlife district, the land existed under Spanish rule in the 1700s. Pensacola was a strategic military port, constantly contested, constantly occupied. The ground saw executions, duels, public punishment, disease outbreaks, enslavement, and forced labor. Death here was not rare, it was routine. In the 18th and early 19th centuries, bodies were often buried quickly, sometimes unmarked, sometimes beneath buildings to prevent disease from spreading. This matters because hauntings often occur where death was unresolved, unacknowledged, or repeated. The structures that now form the Seville Quarter were originally built in the early to mid-1800s, and they served very different purposes. These buildings were once sailor boarding houses, storage warehouses, taverns tied to dock labor, brothels operating quietly above legitimate businesses, and violence was very common. Knife fights, drunken brawls, men dying far from home with no family to claim them. Records show that many sailors who died in Pensacola were never sent home. They were buried nearby, anonymously. If spirits exist, these are the people most likely to linger. Now, during the Civil War, Pensacola became a medical and military hub. Nearby buildings were repurposed for temporary infirmaries, supply storage, officer housing. Wounded soldiers were treated with limited medical knowledge. Amputations were common, and infection was often a death sentence. Witness accounts from later decades describe phantom cries, the sounds of boots on wooden floors, sudden smells of blood or antiseptic. These sensory hauntings are often linked to residual energy, moments replaying like recordings etched into space. Not spirits communicating, but trauma repeating. Now, there have been specific hauntings in the Seville Quarter, such as the child apparition. The young girl in white is one of the most disturbing entities reported. She is often seen standing silently, watching people near staircases or upper floors. Children appearing in haunted locations often suggest disease outbreaks, accidental death, or attachment to a parent who never left. What's chilling is that she is not playful. She watches. There's also the shadow men. Now, multiple reports describe tall, solid shadow figures moving between rooms or standing in corner where light should reach them. These shadows appear intelligent. They avoid interaction. They're often seen during emotional tension or exhaustion. Well, some paranormal researchers believe that these are not spirits of the dead, but something else, drawn to emotional residue. Now, some of you may have also heard about the watcher behind the bar. Who is the watcher behind the bar? Well, let's take a dive into it. So staff has reported feeling someone standing directly behind them while they're closing, only to turn and find no one there. Bottles shift, stools move, and lights flicker only when rooms are empty. This entity behaves like a caretaker, suggesting someone who refuses to abandon responsibility even after death. So there have been many paranormal investigators who have actually invested the Seville Quarter. And we're going to take a look at and see what they have reportedly captured while on their investigations. They've captured EVPs responding to direct questions, intelligent knocking patterns, EMF spikes near staircases and basements, objects moving after verbal requests. What stands out, though, is consistency. Different teams, different years, same locations. That consistency challenged the idea of imagination alone. Now, let's address skepticism. Okay, yes, alcohol does affect perception. Old buildings make some noise. The human brain searches for patterns. But here's the problem. Many witnesses report experiences while sober, alone, before hearing the legends. And many employees experience activity before being told the stories. That's not suggestion. That's experience. Why does it feel different? It feels different because some haunted locations feel aggressive. Some feel playful. Seville Quarter feels occupied. Not angry, not welcoming, but aware. Like you're a guest in a place that remembers everyone. If ghosts exist, maybe they aren't souls trapped in misery. Maybe they're echoes. Emotional imprints left behind by lives that mattered. The Seville Quarter is not haunted because it's old. It's haunted because it was important. People lived here, loved here, died here, and were forgotten here. And maybe they don't want to be forgotten anymore. So this has been Confessions from the Ghost Box. If you've experienced something in Seville Quarter or anywhere in Pensacola, send us your story. You can send it to confessionsfromgb@gmail.com. Until next time, respect the dead, question the living, and never assume that you're alone.
If you felt that static shift, you weren't imagining it. Thank you for listening to Confessions from the Ghost Box. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so you never miss a new investigation, guest interview, or message from beyond the veil. Leave a comment below and tell us what you heard, because sometimes the spirits respond when you listen twice. I'm Jason Balbuena, and until next time, keep your signal open.